Hi, my name is Sreenivas K. I'm the CEO for Vtiger. In this video, I'm going to talk about a few things that will help you assess if Vtiger CRM is the right tool for your organization. Along the way, we'll also see the key criteria that you might be using when evaluating any customer-facing tools. So if you're still watching this video, then you probably are interested in one or more of the following: a sales CRM, or a helpdesk system, or a marketing automation product. Now, when considering any of the above, your objective must be this: how can my organization deliver great customer experiences? Now, the triggers that brought you here might be different. Your sales team might be missing targets, or you might be here because your sales reps are missing meetings, or they are complaining about poor leads, or they're growing out of spreadsheets, or on the customer service side, you might actually have, you might be missing SLAs, or maybe the customer satisfaction scores are low. But when looking at any of these, the ultimate objective again is coming to the same point, which is delivering great experiences. How can your organization deliver? So that is the objective that I'm hoping that you are actually looking to solve. Now, in the next 50 minutes, we'll talk about that specifically and how Vtiger fares against the key criteria, and how Vtiger can put your organization in the position to achieve those results. So the first thing I'm going to talk about briefly is the value of a customer experience, of a good customer experience. And then what is good customer experience? And then we'll talk about the key driver to enable a good customer experience. Then we'll talk about why the current tools in the market are not helping organizations that have invested maybe millions of dollars achieve the results they want. So why are they failing? Then we'll talk about how Vtiger fares in these 15 key criteria. So I'm going to talk about those key criteria right now. When you look at any tool, I think the leading thing is ultimately it's not the features, it's not the breadth, it's primarily user experience. Now, while features are important, we'll come to that. If the user, it could be the sales rep or the customer service agent, does not really feel delight after using the product, then the adoption could be low. And when your adoption is low, then we all know that the results will not be there. So when it comes to the key functional criteria, I'm going to talk about user interface as number one. Then we'll go through feature depth, then artificial intelligence based predictions, collaboration, that is, how does the tool assess or help your internal collaboration, then analytics, whether that has ready dashboards to help your team get value and insights from the data that you have. Then does the tool offer coaching help where your sales managers can in fact become sales mentors? Then automation, configurability, integrations, mobile app. These are all critical functional criteria that you need to assess whenever you're looking at a tool. So we'll talk about how Vtiger fares on each one of these. Then we also have non-functional criteria which are equally important. Now, it starts with data privacy. Does the tool give you adequate controls to ensure the data is only seen by the members who need to see it, and have the right permissions so that they either only read it or maybe able to edit it? So there are a lot of controls that you might want when you are looking at data that is critical. Then the next thing is compliance. With local laws, and especially with the last few years, we have seen great deal of anxiety about privacy of citizen data, and giving them the giving us, in fact, as recipients of all the the messages that we get from different businesses, we need control on what data they can keep. And as an organization on the other side, we have to provide those controls. So does your tool provide those controls to comply with laws like GDPR or CCPA or other laws that are mushrooming around the world? The next thing is, do you have enough partner support? Does the vendor have local partners that can help you implement? Then the total cost of ownership is something that is important to assess. Then lastly, but not the least, do you have adequate services to help you through the journey of implementation of the CRM? It's not just the support, but also kickstart services and other services that you might need on an ongoing basis. So with that said, let's dive into the value of customer experience. Interestingly, the value of a good customer experience has been quantified in many studies. I'll not be actually going into the specific numbers about how much revenue might grow or how much customer satisfaction might grow if you deliver a good customer experience. I think these are stats you can obviously look at your own leisure. And there's a lot. If you go to Google and search, you'll see. But what is clear is the causation, right? If your organization can deliver great customer experience, then you actually lead to higher revenue growth, right? So you are actually increasing the trajectory of revenue growth. And this is, I think, for us all, it is quite obvious. But what is good customer experience, right? So this is something that as individuals, we have actually experienced both the good and the bad customer experiences. In fact, we might even remember some of the good ones and the bad ones that have happened, not just recently, maybe even months back, and sometimes maybe even years back. So it is actually what is customer experience is it's the emotion that your customer feels after a direct or indirect contact. And it is not just your product or the service. So what shapes customer experience is obviously your product or the service that actually the customer has bought. It has to do its job, right? If it's a product, it has to do its job. If it's a service, it has to meet whatever the expectations are. But that is not just it, right? It is actually the more emotional components that lead to the great customer experience, right? It could be direct contacts that they might be having, the messages that are actually flowing through the pre-sales stages, through the sales stages, and after the sale is made in the customer life cycle, when you have maybe they have issues or you have ongoing engagements. So those touch points actually make a big impact on your customer experience. And also indirect contacts. So indirect contacts in the shape of your social messages or your videos or your website. So those are all things that your customers are seeing, and they are actually making an impression out of that. So now we understand, okay, what is customer experience? Now, when you look at that, it is actually the answer to what is the key to delivering a good customer experience is actually fairly obvious, which is that all you need to do is deliver meaningful content in every interaction to increase the quality of engagement. Right? So that is all you need to do. And you're trying to lift the quality of conversations through providing something meaningful. And that meaningful, when we say meaningful, it is something that is personalized. If it is you're doing something in the marketing, pre-sales communications, you might have offers, or through the sales cycle, you might be sending documents, you might be sharing ROI documents, you might be sharing comparison documents. It needs to be something that really matches with what the customer is looking for. If we can do that, then your customer experience chart will be going up. Now, once we understand that, what is puzzling, you might find puzzling is why are many organizations failing, and even organizations that have implemented CRMs, even leading CRM solutions, and despite all the money and the time invested in, why are organizations failing, right? So that when we look at that, and there's a lot of stuff you'll find online about why customer experience has not gone up, though a lot of money has been spent. And there are some charts. I just pulled it up. In fact, interestingly, this is something I just pulled up from the Salesforce blog, and they sourced it from another site here. What you can see from this chart is that the CRM implementation and the success rates are actually not very high. So if you see, the failure rates are scary here. In fact, and this is throughout the 15 years or so in the last 2 decades, right, and across different research analyst coverage. So it's kind of a consistent thing saying more than 50% of the CRM implementations are failing. There was a related chart that explains why. And here you can actually see that the main reason why these implementations are failing is because they are not enabling cross-team collaboration, right? And this is the leading factor. There are other reasons, obviously, about the leadership kind of drive to make the CRM adoption high. But if the tool is not enabling the internal collaboration, then this is a tool that will not meet the goals. So when you see that objective to or the key to deliver great customer experience is this delivering meaningful content, what is essential to do that is just the information about the customer in one place, right? You want to see your past engagements and what is the customer's recent sentiment. Is the customer angry? That is something it will be good to know before we start a touch point, a conversation. Is the customer interested in, what is the customer interested in? Or has the customer reported any issue recently? If I'm a sales rep, I'm following up. If I don't know about a customer issue that was reported, then I will be looking silly. Or when was the last touch point? So these are all things that you need to have in one place. This is essential. Now, when we look at the current traditional tools, the way this 360-degree view is constructed is you have many of the single function tools, and then you stitch together through some integrations, through expensive integration projects. And then you have to end up doing some training and kind of the overhead on making the users use multiple tools. This is what you're currently dealing with when you look at the kind of leading solutions that are out there. Most of these are point products that you're trying to stitch together into something that offers value to the sales rep. Even within the sales stack, what is interesting to see is I'm just going to open a deck, and I actually want to mention the author here, Nicholas. He is actually put together this and is updating this. You can actually find it on the Google. And he has done a nice analysis of all the tools that are out there just for sales reps. I'm not even talking about customer service or marketing. And here, if you see, as a sales leader, you want tools to help with the coaching of your sales reps. You're going to onboard new sales reps. You're going to do continuous coaching. So there are tools with people management that you might be looking at. Then you're looking at pipeline and analytics tools, pipeline management. Then you're looking at tools that will help you with getting intelligence about your customers, profile enrichment, and things like that. And there are tools for collaboration. It could be documents, document signing integrations, or meeting integrations, documents, engagement tracking. So there are at least 30 different boxes here that actually cover different pieces of the puzzle for a salesperson. So if you are actually, obviously, you're not going to buy even maybe 10% or 20% of these tools, right? Even if you buy 10%, then you're dealing with 4 tools, 5 tools just for your sales rep. appointment pages and maybe quote discount approvals processes. That is another tool. So this is what you want to really kind of shy away from. So with Vtiger 1, your sales reps and help desk agents have everything they need in one place. And this is what will enable those delightful conversations. So instead of the traditional approach of multiple products and for each function or within a function, you have multiple point products. With Vtiger, you have this one product that helps you leverage all the conversations and provide the one view. So with Vtiger One View, you can have meaningful conversations and you will know what is the customer sentiment, what is the customer interested in, and when was the last touch point. So if you're a sales rep that is following up, you will know if the customer reported an issue recently. So this is all what you'll get when you use Vtiger. Now let me dive into some key criteria when you're looking to evaluate a CRM. And I want to show how Vtiger actually fares on each one of these. I'm also going to give you a sneak peek of the product. So let me show you how Vtiger fares on the key criteria when you're choosing a CRM solution. So I'm going to start off with the user experience, as I mentioned earlier. That is the most important thing when it comes to driving the adoption, increasing adoption. And it all starts with one view in Vtiger. And let me actually show you what I mean. Right. So this is the deal view in Vtiger. And I'm looking at one deal. It tells me the amount on the deal and the current stage and the pipeline that it is on, and the description of the deal and the next steps. And these are coming from our Calculus AI engine. And we have the history of the deal, and here you can filter all the interactions that you want to see. If you want to just filter for emails, you can see that, or internal comments only. You can also roll up from the related records. So you get a single timeline of all the conversations with that related to that deal. And when it comes to one view, what you're going to see on the right side is there is a calculus widget, which we'll come to later. I'll briefly allude to that. But these are all small things that you'll find in Vtiger that have good, meaningful value for your sales reps. For example, you'll find duplicate records. So as a sales rep, I will be alerted to related records that have probably the same name, or it need not be an exact match. It'll look for close matches and it'll alert you. For example, there is Pragati leadership here. We found that, okay, there's another company called Pragati Bio. It's trying to alert you to possible duplicates. And when it comes to related information, you'll find the related contact information, related organization information. This is probably something you might even find in the other CRM products. But what you will not find is the related cases right on the deal. Now, you don't need to integrate with some other system to get this data. In Vtiger, the Helpdesk is part of the product. So it gets linked to the same customer record. And on the deal, you're not even on the contact, you're on a deal here. While you're on a deal, it is alerting you to the possibility that there's a related case from the customer that you as a sales rep need to know. So this is really the power of one view. And similarly, for example, you might be on a case. On a case, if I'm a customer service agent responding to a customer, if I know that there's a deal, then I can alert the sales rep, right? I don't even have to wait for the sales rep to come to a deal to find. So these are all things that Vtiger facilitates through collaboration. And we'll come to the collaboration aspect here. You will find that you can add comments, you can add mentions. So if I can mention my colleagues, let's say I've mentioned Josh, I can mention him and say, please follow up on this deal. So these are all things that are built into the one view that you might spend most time on as a sales rep. So you don't have to leave back, and you might see all your deals, your sales funnel, everything is in one place in Vtiger. In Vtiger, you can also customize the main menu, and in fact, each user can personalize the main menu. Then in terms of intuitive stuff, you have things like related information, documents are all grouped together, tasks. These are all things nicely grouped together for you. Your quotes, invoices are in one tab related to an org. So these are all things that make it easy for you to find information. Obviously, the things that really appeal to the aesthetics, like this white spacing and even dark mode support, these are things that you will find in Vtiger. And the UI is actually functional. It's not just the elegance part. It's really whether it gets the job done when you need to find something or you need to do some action, the buttons in the right places. For example, history is something that is important. You want to go back to a quickly record that you just saw. And ability to just quickly click to initiate a call right from the product instead of waiting or going outside the product and opening a dialer or something else. And you have multiple ways to do some things. For example, you might be just doing to do a quick edit on one of the fields. You don't have to go to the full edit view. So let me talk about feature breadth and depth. With Vtiger, what you get is the single product that helps you and brings together marketing teams and sales teams and help desk. And we'll talk about the depth also in each one of these. Also project management. But what differentiates Vtiger is these aspects to it. And the user interface is one part of it, the one view I talked about, and the AI engine, and conversations analysis to drive coaching. And one of the key differentiators in Vtiger is actually the depth of configuration. And I'm going to go into a little more detail on each one of these. But ultimately, the most important feature for meaningful engagement and to improve quality of engagement is really the one view. And that is what you'll get on the deal, on the case, on the task, or a chat record. If I'm doing a live chat, right, I can see the related information, even deals and cases related to the person I'm chatting with, right there on the chat console. So that is what you will get with Vtiger. And in terms of features across the board, you will see all the important features that you need, whether you are a marketing specialist or a sales rep or a sales manager or support team member. So these, obviously, we will have videos for you that go into detail about each one of these. So this is going to take too long for me to go into depth in any level of depth here. But what I wanted to talk briefly about is it's not just the number of features that are there, but the fine-grained use cases that you can actually get some of from these features. For example, we in the last slide, you have seen that we have sales pipelines and multiple pipelines, right? In the sales, we have pipeline management. But when you go into pipeline management, you might have multiple stages, and there might be some use cases where that particular stage, there are some reserved stages which can be only assigned by a sales manager. A sales rep might not be able to move the deal to that stage unless the manager has approved it. Now, these are things that you might only encounter when you go into depth on a specific flow. And in Vtiger, these are things that we have over the years. We have received feedback about specific use cases and made it configurable so that you can get to market on these features quickly, right? You don't have to again do some additional implementation or coding for that. Similarly, when a sales rep saves a quote and the quote has certain discount, let's say 10% discount, and you have a threshold of saying, okay, if it is more than 5%, then it needs to be approved. So there's a rule you can configure in Vtiger in the approvals process flows to set these thresholds. Now, when the quote is saved, the system will automatically see that this has exceeded the threshold and it's going to send it for approval. It's going to send the quote, but you also have the option to send the related worksheets. So usually in larger projects, when you have high ticket items, you might have worksheets where the sales rep has done some calculations. It could be a spreadsheet or something where the sales rep has made a case for coming up with this particular price. Now that could be a related document to the quote. Now with Vtiger, you can just in the approval workflow, you can say attach the related documents. So those are the things that you will actually encounter only when you start going deep into the implementations. In Vtiger, you are well covered because of the depth in many of the features. And this is just two, there are hundreds of such examples. The next thing you are going to probably be looking for and should look for is whether the tool is providing the ability to draw insights and through pattern recognition or through machine learning, draw predictions and recommendations. And there is some meaningful ways that we can do this. And in Vtiger, you actually can see this when you use Calculus AI, which is an add-on. You can see these values. And ultimately, when it comes to AI, you should assess who is it going to help and how. And we have started with the objective of first enabling the transaction owners. And when I talk about transaction owners, I mean the deal owner or the case owner, right? So is the AI engine giving something meaningful to make the sales rep, salesperson to have a better conversation or follow up at the right time? So that's where we start off with, and then we have sales manager. How does it help the sales manager? So let me give you a good high-level view of how Vtiger helps a sales rep. In Vtiger, you actually, if I go back to the opportunity view, let me just open one of the opportunities here. So you can see that the deal score is right here, and this is calculated based on fit score, authority score, engagement score, sentiment score, and you can see the sentiment also being tracked. So the deal score is the consolidated, aggregated prediction probability that the system has come with based on historical deals that were closed successfully and deals that were lost, and looks at the pattern of engagement on those and the industry that you're selling to in the deals that you won versus you lost. All those are coming into play. And when you look at these, you also get a high-level view of the conversation insights. So here you can find that the historical pattern of engagement on this particular deal, and you get a nice bird's eye view as a sales manager. You don't have to kind of follow up with the sales rep to see what all happened. This is kind of the deal executive brief that you get. If there were competitors mentioned, they will be showing up here. If they're positive or negative or neutral sentiments, those are all things that the system can automatically get. You also get to see who all followed up on this particular deal and how many touch points happened with the decision makers versus the influencer. Now, with AI, we are looking to see how AI can help the sales rep through the customer journey. It's not right when the deal is created. It's also before the deal is created, during the lead qualification. Can we enrich the profile of the contact information? Is the lead scoring actually using historical data and then getting better and better with time? Are there alerts that are coming? If it's a duplicate record, is it alerting ahead of time so that your data is not scattered? In the lead nurturing phase, following up at the best time. So there's a best time to contact feature that is also based on when your contact is more likely to respond to emails. So that is based on that particular contact's engagement that has happened in the past. Idle alerts, content suggestions, when a customer sends an email and requested a comparison document or maybe something about pricing, then you might have a certain document from your marketing that the system can readily kind of recommend. It's sitting right there as an assistant that you can click and you can see that pop up. So these are things that are that you can see in Vtiger. So when it comes to the deal level, once it gets to the deal stage, then Vtiger can actually provide some recommendations for the sales rep to move the deal forward through the sales cycle a little more faster. It can give content recommendations. It can also suggest some tasks that to be done. For example, to identify the decision makers. If it sees that the decision maker has not been identified yet on a deal, it can provide that nudge to really help the sales rep. So ultimately, the AI engine is really there to be an assistant, a smart assistant to the sales rep who is actually owning the deal. When it comes to sales leaders, AI also can come in very handy here, and actually there's very critical areas where AI can make a big difference for sales managers. One is the deal executive brief that I showed you, but the next thing is the forecast. When it comes to forecasts, it's not just based on the sales reps' gut feel, it's also based on data that the system has historically. It takes into account all the important factors like the customer segment. Is there a good fit for the deals? Are we counting some deals that are actually with customers that are not your mainstream customers, where the conversions might not be as high? So deal score actually, since it factors all this, when we get into a forecast and you choose the AI based forecast, you get a much more realistic view of what your revenue might be. And last but most important is Vtiger actually can make your sales managers become sales mentors. And here, the way it enables that is through analyzing the calls and the emails that are going through from the sales reps, and looking for best practices, and even looking for some signals that you can configure. And it will flag certain conversations that you need to review. And this happens automatically with Vtiger because of the integrations with the phone systems and meeting products. Those conversations come in and then they're automatically analyzed and then they're flagged for review. And this is something that you will actually be finding very handy when you're looking to help the sales reps who are not really kind of having higher conversion become better through just good coaching. So there's a video that we will have which will help you go and see how Vtiger calculus can help your sales team. So that's something that by itself can take a good amount of time. Calculus AI can also help your customer service teams, and essentially, I think the ultimate value here is to provide your customers answers right when they need it. So that's where AnswerBot can do that, your chatbot. And that saves time so that the customer service agents can actually have their time focused on the more complex queries. And even there, the AI engine can come in and show some recommendations. So we have that well covered, and you can even see certain insights right on a case that the calculus can directly alert, saying this is something that the customer service agent should be aware of when responding to the customer. Then collaboration is a critical part, and we have seen that recently Salesforce has bought Slack, and we can understand the purpose of that. Obviously, when you talk about customer conversations, we usually think that, okay, this is something to do with mostly the outbound stuff. But to actually have meaningful conversations with customers, you need to have the right information within the team, and you're collaborating with, you might be collaborating with your marketers, your customer service agents, even your engineering, so that you can send the right response. So with that mention right on a deal, you can actually make it very easy for your colleague to understand the context. If you're sending the same message outside, maybe on a Hangout message or somewhere, then your context is lost, and you're going to waste a lot of time rebuilding the context for each person that you're collaborating with. So Vtiger brings those conversations that are happening internally into the right context by providing comments in all your transactions, deals, quotes, organizations, contacts, cases, tasks, everything. All of them have comments. And And your colleagues can also respond with one-click reactions. If they like something, they can just give a thumbs up. So these are all just some nice, easy ways to collaborate and really also make us connect more easily now that we are kind of working from home and remote places and all, right? So it's collaboration is the key to make the sales reps and the customer service agents job easier. This collaboration really makes the whole organization back up your customer facing teams and members by providing the support they need right when they need it. Then things like sticky notes, right? If there's some important note that you want your maybe anybody who looks at the deal to know, then you can just make the note sticky. It could be a discount that you gave that you want others to know about before they talk to the customer, so that two different sales reps don't give two different discounts. So these are things that you get in Vtiger out of the box. There's also approval flows, like I mentioned. When you save a quote, it directly goes for approval if it kind of exceeds a certain threshold. Then analytics. So here I'll just give you a couple of examples. There are analytics at the individual level. As a sales rep, I want to know certain things, and let me see if I can show you that right here. So here's a sales rep's dashboard, and as a sales rep, I can see my win rate is 8%, and the best win rate in my team is 9%. So while I'm not too far off, I know, okay, I have more ways to go before I'm the best sales rep in the team. So similarly, you might see the follow-ups, how many follow-ups am I doing per lead versus the best in my team. So this is something that each sales rep can actually see at an individual level. And when it comes to the team level dashboards and manager dashboards, you can also see insights. So this is chat insights that come out of the box with Vtiger when you use the live chat add-on. Now here, it gives you insights into how many conversations are happening by day of the week, and within a day, by the hour, when do you get more chat messages from your customers. This will help you kind of plan your staffing. And also it shows you how your response times are at different times of the day. And you can see we also missed some chats. And here you can see the response times are taking more than 30 seconds, which is our target is to respond within 30 seconds. And some of our conversations, and you can see 70% we are not able to meet that. Right. So these are things, and we can see at what time of the day are those responses getting delayed. You can even kind of correlate that are the responses getting delayed when there is more volume of chats. If that is the case, then you can allocate more members at that time. Also response time by agent, which agents are able to respond faster, right? And then their volume over this time period, and also the duration of the chat message. So are there some agents who are able to respond faster and keep the conversations shorter by providing the information the customer needs? So these are important things for you to know as the manager for your channel, for live chat channel. There are other insights here that you can see that show how each agent is getting rated by customer and also internally by the reviewer. So these are all things that you get, and these are their dashboards for sales. There are sales insights. There are Helpdesk case insights for email support. So these are all things that you get out of the box from Vtiger Analytics. And next thing that you are going to look for is automation. And when it comes to automation, it's not just the simple things like web forms. You want to have those leads directly funnel from your website into the product automatically, or you might have your Facebook lead ads, or maybe you have other web forms that are out there that are collecting information. So with these integrations, those are automatically coming into the product. So there's no manual intervention needed there. Similarly, when you have leads, you want to assign leads, you don't need to have somebody sitting there to assign manually. You can let assignment rules take care of it. You can let the system just assign automatically based on the rules you have configured. You have different types of rules here. You have weighted, you have round robin, you have ratio based. Then you can set up workflows. In the workflows, you actually can go through and set up different triggers to send email notifications, or you might want to update fields. So when it comes to automation, what you're looking for is something that will reduce repetitive work. And it's not just the lead forms or your website forms or your Facebook leads that you get. You probably put it in spreadsheets and move it into the CRM or some other place. With Vtiger, all these repetitive tasks can be automated. So what you have is simple web forms to integrations with Facebook, with your Google system, Gmail, Office 365. So if your contacts, they can actually be moved, automatically synced. And also workflows, right? For example, assignment rules let you actually automatically assign records without needing any manual intervention. There are different types of assignment rules that you can use, as you can see here. In terms of workflows, you can enable different types of workflows, whether it's notification workflows to inform the owners or your customers, maybe an invoice that is due, you want to send the automatic email, or a lead that has been assigned that's not been followed up. That's a workflow that you can easily set up. Or you have incoming emails where they have to be automatically converted to cases, or you have workflows that automatically update records, or workflows that actually go and update your third-party systems, right? Their webhooks, and these are all things that are possible with Vtiger. You can also have workflows for approvals, and I just mentioned the example of quote approvals. You can have other things like leave approvals, expense approvals. These are all very easy to configure in Vtiger. Then when it comes to coaching, I was talking about the key areas how AI can help a sales manager or a sales leader, and coaching is one of the key ways. So with Vtiger Calculus, it actually automatically analyzes your phone calls and flags certain calls that need to be reviewed. And that makes it easy for you to look at the areas that might need intervention and give recommendations that will improve the quality of conversations the next time around as the sales rep gets your feedback. There are also custom scorecards that you can configure. And these scorecards help you rate your conversations in a way that you want. You can create your own custom criteria. It could be agenda setting or demo quality, and all these things are things that are specific to your business. So you can configure those scorecards and then rate these calls and emails on those. Then there's a coaches score board that gives the coaches a nice view of how the sales reps are doing on the different key factors. It could be talk to listen ratios or the mood of the call and the talking speed, and how are they doing on the different scorecards that you have configured. Similarly, players have their own scoreboard also that shows them how they are improving over time. When it comes to customization, this is an area that you have to look at closely, and because each business is different and you have your own workflows, your own data that you want to collect, certain data that is specific to your needs. So these are some basic things that you can expect to see in many CRMs. But so these are some of these things that you see on the left-hand side. What you also get with Vtiger is things that will help you with data integrities. You can set up your data duplicate prevention rules. You can set up closed states where you can say if a deal enters this state or a lead enters this state, then it is considered as a closed state. Then the lead is locked or deal is locked. So these are all things that you can see that are very useful to improve the data that is there in the system, ensure that you are capturing all the information that you need, and the data is accurate. There's also custom validation tools that you can set up. So these are all things that you can do at the data level within Vtiger. You can also customize the processes, and this is a very important aspect because each team has their own unique business process that you follow, and you're improving it over time. So is the system allowing you to change these processes over time? Do you have the control where you can maybe, for example, set up your own pipeline, set up your own stages, you can tweak those stages over time, and you can set up your journey templates. So journey templates are tasks that you want your sales reps to do at each stage of the sales process. So if it's maybe in the qualification stage, you want the sales rep to do these two things. You want to be maybe get them to sign an NDA with the customer. Unless that is done, then you don't want to move to the next phase. So these are tasks that the system can automatically create once you set up the template. And those are things you can configure. Currencies, taxes, email sequences. Email sequences actually is more useful for outbound selling, where you can set up a nice sequence of emails for a targeted client in a specific role. It could be maybe real estate, or it could be manufacturing. You've created a nice sequence to showcase your value prop, and that is something you can repeat to other contacts within that unique specific role. And that is something you can customize. Code templates are very important, which allows you to create your own customized proposals. You can have 10-page code proposals as well. Invoice templates. These are all things that you can customize. And in calculus, with calculus, you can actually configure and fine-tune some of the prediction models that we use. Out of the box, calculus gives you most of the intelligence that you are looking, like predictions, recommendations. If you want to fine-tune it, this is where you can do with setting up your own conversation signals. You can mention your competitors' names, and Vtiger will automatically flag conversations when a competitor is mentioned. At least you will see those, and then you can set up the right actions to do. It could be just an alert, or it could be just a silent observation that you can make, and calculus can just show it in the deal executive brief. So when it comes to the coaching, when it comes to training models, you can also change the minimum thresholds. You can also customize the way we actually weigh the fit score, right? You can actually identify these are the key fields that you want the system to look at when it comes to the industry fit for rating the particular deals organization. How close is that organization to your ideal customer? Continuing with the processes with Vtiger, you can also customize the support process. It's not just the SLA times. You can set up escalation rules. You can also set up business hours. On the marketing side, some important things like getting consents. When you're sending out marketing messages, you definitely want to ensure that you have the ability to get consents from the customers. So that is something you can fine tune. Profile scoring methods can be customized. On the web activity scoring, you can even say that this is the web page that is actually more important. Obviously, the system can determine that through historical data, but you have those controls if you want to kind of fine tune that. The next important aspect is integrations, and whichever CRM you're going to use has to play well with the current systems that you're using. It could be the email systems, it could be your payment systems, it could be your accounting system. These are all things that you actually need to integrate with to get the conversations. Again, this is to enable the one view for your the transaction owners, right? And it could be, and these are things that come out of the box with Vtiger. You actually have ready direct connectors with all the things that are listed here, including phone systems. Now, in addition to these, you also have the ability to do custom integrations. And Vtiger has a robust API that is what made all those integrations possible. You can use the APIs to build custom integrations with your apps. And there are some ready integration services that are out there like Zapier, to which Vtiger connects, which allows you to connect Vtiger to thousands of apps. And lastly, about functionality, mobile app is a key. And more and more we are seeing users, including sales reps, working and spending time on the mobile and doing most of the business on the mobile. So which is what Vtiger enables. So those conversations that are happening on WhatsApp, can now happen through the Vtiger mobile app, so that the WhatsApp conversation comes into the CRM and helps with lead scoring and helps with the getting the one view, right? So those conversations that are happening need to be captured. So that's what Vtiger enables on the mobile app, enabling you to bring all the conversations into the system. Your calls that are happening on the mobile are also logged in the CRM that actually lead to the touch point scoring, idle alerts. All those are factoring in all the conversations that are happening. Now in the mobile app, to start with, it does the basic things like gives you the day's agenda and alerts when somebody mentions you, or when a quote is waiting for approval, you immediately get an alert when a sales rep saves a quote and it requires approval. It will be immediately notifying you as a sales manager. Now you can do all the things that you're doing on the web as far as contacts, cases, deals, even quotes. These are all things that you can do on the mobile app. And you can even take voice notes. If you just finished a meeting, you can just do a quick note and just file it on the record. When it comes to field sales and field service teams and field service agents, things like navigation to the customer site. So you'll see your day's agenda. You have maybe 3-4 site visits to make. You click on navigate, it will take you to the first customer meeting. You can even check in. So if you if you're ensuring, or if you want to track whether these visits are happening, you can also set up your geofence radius, and any violations will be shown in a report. So these are all things that you get with the mobile app. So let me talk briefly about some of the non-functional requirements. And number one, as far as non-functional requirement, is the data confidentiality and the data privacy. And when you look at your customer data, not everybody in your team need to access all the data about the customer. And that is what Vtiger enables with this module, record, and field level access controls. So you can set up different sharing rules, and these sharing rules can be configured between these 4 different ways of sharing, right? You can have public or hierarchical or record level, which gives you some ad hoc controls to share this specific record with specific individuals. Or you can have custom sharing rules that also kind of work along with the hierarchy. So these are all things that you get with Vtiger. You can even mark some fields as sensitive fields. For example, a social security number or a national ID number. Now these fields, whichever are marked as sensitive fields, are actually not displayed when the record is shown. The user has to click on view to see that, and that is logged. So every time somebody views that, it is automatically saying that this particular user has viewed this value. And even that view permission also can be controlled. So you can, while you might give access to the record, that particular field can only be accessed by certain users with a certain role. And those are things that you get with Vtiger. And even logging in, you can make it easy for your users to log in. You can have controls. You can even restrict them to logging in at specific business hours, maybe from 9 to 6. When it comes to compliance, the first and foremost thing you need to provide to your customers is the ability for them to control what data are you tracking about them, and the ability for them to give consent or decline consent. So with Vtiger, you're actually able to give that through the communication preferences page. Your contacts can subscribe to specific lists. They can give consents for whatever fields you have marked for consent. Even give custom consents for sharing. You might want to share it with a partner, and you might have sought consent for that. They can stop processing. They can even erase. They can request data erasure as well. So these are things that are mandatory if you need to comply with GDPR regulations in Europe. Now, as an administrator, you can customize all this. You can customize what fields do you need to get consent for, any custom consents. So these are things that you can readily do with Vtiger. When it comes to the partner footprint, we have partners around the world and in your region. So if you're looking for local help, somebody who has experience having implemented CRM solutions with Vtiger, so certainly we do have the experts who can help you, and we collaborate closely with them. And when it comes to total cost of ownership, what is important for you to realize is it's not just the license cost, it's also the other derivative costs, the add-ons that you might want to use in your business, the implementation fees. Usually, for every $1 of license cost, there's probably $2-3 of implementation cost with a lot of the leading CRMs. With Vtiger, that is not the case. So with the amount of configurability that you have, the time to market and the implementation times are actually shorter. So that's what our partners can help you kind of gain from those benefits that you get. And ultimately, the true cost of ownership is, and the total cost of ownership with Vtiger is certainly more attractive compared to the other providers. What we really look at is how do we make the system basically more easy to use and simple to administer. And in terms of services, depending on the need, we actually have the standard support, we have the premium support, and we also have kickstart services either that we can provide or our partners can provide. So we are there with you through the implementation phase and throughout the course of time that you're going to use Vtiger for. So as I wrap up, I just wanted to give you kind of a high-level summary of what makes Vtiger different. So with Vtiger, it acts as the system of record for all your customer transactions. And also, if there are transactions that are outside the CRM, like your accounting invoices, it can integrate with them and then bring that data here to make it easy for your team to access the data. Also, it is playing well with all the systems of engagement that you're using, and that could be Gmail, or you're using meeting products, phone systems, and all these are actually integrated with Vtiger. So Vtiger becomes the one point where you can get all your conversations. And when you go to a contact or a deal, you get those views that make it easy for you to have a meaningful touch point. And Vtiger also now has the system capability to offer intelligence. With calculus, you actually get predictions, you get recommendations that lead the conversations to be more meaningful. Thank you.